Hey, JK here. Now thank you for sharing part of your day with me. With week 10 in the books, there are a few things that have come to my mind this week, and I want to pose those questions to you. First question, can Josh Dobbs take the Vikings to the playoffs? He's done very well in his first two starts, not even knowing who he's throwing to or the playbook, so finally getting comfortable and eventually going to be getting Justin Jefferson back. But Hawkinson and Addison are both getting looks, they're both getting touches, they're both making things happen. They have Ty Chandler coming out of nowhere in the backfield, being the lead back. He's got some good things going on. He's got a defense that's putting up some points for him and getting some sauce for him. Next question. With this week's win for the Denver Broncos over at the Buffalo Bills, who does that say more about, the Bills or the Broncos? Is Sean Payton doing something right there in Denver with Russell Wilson and the rest of the offensive unit? Or is Josh Allen and the entire Bills offense just overrated? I don't know. I think the Bills will eventually get on the right track, squeak into the playoffs, and who knows? Maybe make some more magic happen against the Chiefs, but I doubt that. Again, I think they'll squeak in, but I don't know if they're going to be doing a whole lot. Josh Allen has been very inconsistent, 6 straight games with a turnover, and constantly missing his biggest weapon, Stephon Diggs. Finally getting Dalton Kincaid involved, but still not getting that boomer bust performance from Gabe Davis. So, with no running game other than Josh Allen, I don't know if the Bills are going to do much of anything if they even make it to the playoffs. And as far as the Broncos, they've performed well this last month after a horrific start. So I'm not saying they're good. I'm just saying that they're on the right track. And the third question, are the Chargers really good at being bad, or are they really bad at being good? Since the early 2000s, they have had some amazing players. Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, Antonio Gates, LaDainian Tomlinson, Darren Sproles, and Sean Merriman. Those guys have been phenomenal players for the Chargers and, probably some other teams as well, if you think about it. There have been some great players to come through that franchise. And how many Super Bowls do they have? The last time they made it to the Super Bowl was 95. That was Stan Humphries at the helm. And Natron Means, my boy Natron Means in the backfield. So, it's been a while. But in any case, those are the 3 questions I wanted to pose. Now let's go ahead and get to the fantasy teams. We're going to go ahead and start with the Party Time Party Boys. I won this week 140 to 112, bringing my record to 6-4, 5th overall in the league, 2nd in the division. My leading scorers included Geno Smith, who had 29 points, and Mike Evans and Jahmyr Gibbs, both with 26. The guys who did absolutely positively nothing for me, but I was able to still come out with a victory, included Drake London and Mark Andrews, both with 6 points, Taysom Hill with 4 points, and Michael Thomas with 1 point. There were no adds and drops for this league, so we're going to go ahead and jump to the Deranged Easter Bunny, where I was able to come up with a victory of 169 to 130, bringing my record to 7-3, leading the league and my division. My leading scorer was Joe Burrow with 69, followed by Tank Dell with 21. I did have Sam Howell on my bench who scored 77 points and Tyler Lockett who had 24 points, but the guys who actually started and did nothing for me included Taysom Hill with 4 points and Derrick Henry with 3 points. That's very disappointing that Derrick Henry has been another dud for me, multiple weeks. That's got to change, man, and hopefully Will Levis can help that, but only time will tell. There's only one add and drop for this week, Tank Dell for Zach Moss. Now we're going to move to the Majestic Juggernauts. I lost this week 120 to 108, bringing my record to 5-5, putting me on a 3-game losing streak. My leading scorer was Sam Howell with 29 points, followed by Jahmyr Gibbs with 22 points. The guys who did nothing for me included Tony Pollard with 5 points and Taysom Hill with 1 point. My opponent also had CeeDee Lamb, who outscored half of my team himself. So that's unfortunate. The adds for this week included Tank Dell and Sam Howell, and the drops included Cam Akers and the Giants defense. Why they were ever on my team, I don't know. We're going to round this week out talking about the Vince McMahon Football Club, and also this is my worst loss, 183 to 133. Now, my record still is 6-4. I am still 2nd in my division, but holy cow, this was a butt whooping. Now, it was by the number 1 guy in the league, so it makes a little bit of sense. But even the people on my bench couldn't have made it much of any better. My leading scorers included Keenan Allen with 31, Brock Purdy with 30, and the Cowboys defense with 27. The guys who played biggest into this loss included Travis Etienne and Mark Andrews only getting 4 points each, Drake London only getting 3 points, and Calvin Ridley and Taysom Hill only getting 2 points each. That's not going to help me win. The outs of this week included Kyron Williams, Keaton Mitchell, and Matt Gay. The drops include the Texans defense, Pat Freiermuth, and Craig Reynolds. The guys I think you should add this week include a duo of guys both in Minnesota and Green Bay. Take heed on the Green Bay people. But for the Vikings, I think you should add Josh Dobbs and or Ty Chandler. Both of those guys have strong starts these last 2 games. They also have 2 good games coming up against the Denver Broncos defense and the Chicago Bears defense. Those are defenses that you can expose both through the air and on the ground, so it might be good to add. The duo in Green Bay include the receivers Jaden Reed and Romeo Dobbs. One's going to get you the TDs, the other's going to get you the yards. That's just how it is. I don't have a whole lot of faith in them, but if you need wide receivers, especially for bye weeks, they would be who to add. Another guy to add if he was dropped in your league earlier is Kyron Williams. He is going to be back in another week or so. He is going to be the lead back in the Rams offense, and if Stafford has to miss and Wentz has to start, Kyron Williams will be carrying the load. As far as defenses, Detroit plays Chicago. Enough said. Well, that does it for the wrap-up of the fantasy teams and the people I think you should add. Take it with a grain of salt. Hopefully you will be back next week and they will do good for you. This is J-Cake, and I want to thank you for sharing part of your day with me.